What are your worst cooking experience? Are your bad cooking experience related to bad quality of cooking utensil? Like everything in the world, there are bad and there are good products. How to select a good quality of cooking utensil? In today's topic, section 4.2, specific heat capacity, I am going to teach you how to select a good utensil.
Hi students, I am Mr. Pei, your Form 4 Physics tutor today. Today, I am going to discuss with you Chapter 4, Subtopic Section 4.2, Specific Heat Capacity. Let's see, there are 4 learning outcomes for today's subtopic. First, you need to know how to explain heat capacity. Second, define specific heat capacity of a material. Third, explain the application of specific heat capacity. And last, problem solving involving specific heat capacity using the formula. Let us start the lesson today. This is the first learning outcome of today's topic, heat capacity. What is heat capacity? To let you understand this scientific term, please observe these two situations in our daily life, which is involve heat capacity. First, look at the situation 1. There is a hot pot of curry coming from the kitchen. It takes time to cool down. This because a hot pot of curry need to lose a lot of heat energy to cool down. In the other words, the hot pot of curry contain a big bag which able to store more heat energy. In the scientific terms, the hot pot of curry has a large heat capacity. While look at the second situation, slices of toasted bread coming out from the toaster can be eaten comfortably. This because it cooled down quickly. This because the slice of toasted bread lost smaller amount of heat energy for the same temperature. In the other words, the toasted bread contain a small size of the bag which only able to store little amount of energy. So in scientific terms, the slice of toasted bread has small heat capacity. Therefore, heat capacity can be defined as the amount of heat required to increase the temperature of substance by 1 degree Celsius or 1 Kelvin. The symbol used for heat capacity is capital C, and the formula for heat capacity is quantity of heat energy divided by change of temperature. The unit used for heat capacity is joule per degree Celsius or joule per Kelvin. Now look at one example how to apply the formula mentioned just now for heat capacity in this situation. A slice of bread taken out from the refrigerator require 15.2 kJ of heat to rise its temperature from 4 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. what is the heat capacity of the brake? So the solution is, we're using the formula, which is Q divided by change of temperature. The Q's given 15.2 kilojoule. So you need to change kilojoule to joule, which by multiply 1000. And the temperature change is from 42 minus 4. There will be 400 joule per degree Celsius. Now look at example 2. This is another example of application for formula of heat capacity. A roof of hot brake has temperature of 50 degrees Celsius. How much heat is released from the roof of the brake if the temperature drops to 32 degrees Celsius? The question given, the heat capacity of brake is 400 joule per degree Celsius. Now the question asking us to find out what is the heat released. So that means we need to find out the Q. So we need to rearrange the formula of heat capacity to become Q equal C times changes of temperature. So in the question is given the C is equal to 400 and the temperature changes is from 50 to 32. So we just substitute all the value into the formula and we get the answer is 7200 joule. Now let us go to our second learning outcome of today's topic, which is define the specific heat capacity. What is the difference between heat capacity and specific heat capacity? The heat capacity is not involve the mass of an object in the calculation. Look at the picture. You may see that the concrete with mass of 500 grams and water with 200 grams. Do you know which of them has higher heat capacity? Definitely, we are unable to find out their heat capacity with different mass. To compare or identify which material has higher heat capacity, it is easier to state the heat capacity per unit mass, or we know as specific heat capacity of the material. Therefore, the specific heat capacity can be defined as the amount of heat required to increase the temperature of 1 kg of the substance by 1 degree or 1 Kelvin. So, in specific heat capacity, the mass is considered in the calculation. The symbol for specific heat capacity is small letter c, and the formula is quite similar to the formula of heat capacity, which is Q divided by changes of temperature. Okay, but for the specific heat capacity, we are including the mass in the formula, so become Q divide mass times changes of temperature, so that the unit for the specific capacity will be joule per kg per degree Celsius or joule per kg per Kelvin. Now let us discuss what is the physical meanings of specific heat capacity. To understand the physical meanings of specific heat capacity, here I give two examples of different material that have different specific heat capacity. The first one what does the specific heat capacity of aluminium with the value of 900 joule per kilogram per degree Celsius means? The statement means that 900 joule of heat is needed to be supplied to 1 kilogram of aluminium to produce a 1 degree Celsius temperature increase. Another example, what does specific heat capacity of the water with value 4200 joule per kilogram per degree Celsius means? So that means for water, we need 4200 joule of energy to supply for 1 kilogram of water to produce 1 degree Celsius of temperature increase. From these two examples, we can conclude that when two objects are equal mass are heated at equal rate, the object with smaller specific capacity will have the faster temperature increase. Here we can refer to case of aluminium. You may see that to increase 1 degree Celsius for 1 kilogram of aluminium, you just need about 900 joule. So that means for smaller value of specific heat capacity of the material, the energy needed to increase the temperature will be lower compared to another example, which is water. It has a larger specific heat capacity. So for increasing of 1 degree Celsius of 1 kilogram of water, you need to given more energy, which is 4200 joule at here. So another conclusion we can make based on above two example is when two objects of equal mass are left to cool down, the temperature of the object with smaller heat capacity will drop faster. So that means aluminium will be more easily to increase its temperature if heat is provided. On the other hand, if we leave it for the aluminium to cool down, the temperature will be decreased faster compared to the water, which has a higher value of specific heat capacity. So now we go to the third learning outcome of today's topic, which is the application of specific heat capacity. So based on the discussion just now regarding the physical meanings of specific heat capacity, so what we can apply in our daily life for the substance which has a smaller value of specific heat capacity. For just now, the aluminium has lower value of specific heat capacity for the water. So at here, first, heat up and cool down at a faster rate. For example, metal like iron, steel, copper, and aluminium is used as pots and pans because they can be quickly heated when there is only small heat absorption. So that means we can save more fossil fuels and save more costs if we will be using smaller value of specific heat capacity material in cooking. Second, sensitive temperature changes. So that means that the material with smaller value of specific heat capacity will be able to showing significant changes when small amount of energy provided. The changes can be volume like thermometer. So therefore, thermometer has low specific heat capacity. It enables heat to be easily absorbed or released even when small quantities of heat is involved. How about the material with higher value of specific capacity? For previous page, the example for higher value of specific heat capacity will be water, which is with a value of 4,200 joule per kilogram per degree Celsius. So the material will be heated up and cooled at slower rate. Therefore, require more heat to rise its temperature by a specific amount. It is a poor heat conductor, so it is suitable to become a handle of the pots. So it can absorb a great amount of heat without a high increase in temperature. For example, water act as heat reservoirs as it can absorb great amount of heat before it boils. So water is used as a cooling agent in car radiator. So there is more detailed explanation for each application in next section. Now let us discuss the application of specific heat capacity in material engineering. There is a structure of cooking pots I'm going to discuss with you. For handle of cooking pots, we need to select the material which has larger specific heat capacity so that the handle will not become too hot when heat is absorbed. So it is also considered as a poor heat conductor, so the heat loss will be minimized. The example of the material which has a large specific heat capacity is wood. Second, let us discuss the base material which is suitable for use in the cooking pot. Okay, so we need to select the material with low specific heat capacity so that the base become hot very quickly, and the high density material will be selected as the heavier base are able to ensure the pots to be more stable and will not be topple over easily. So here the example of material can be used to make as the base of cooking pots is copper. And last, we need to discuss the material which is suitable to make up the body of cooking pots. So we need to select also the low specific heat capacity material so that the pots become hot very quickly. However, we need to select the low density material. This is different with the base material selection. So for body, we need to select low density material so that the pot is light and easy to carry to other place. Example here is actually aluminum. Okay, so we need to select the material is aluminum for the body of cooking pots. So now let us discuss the cooling system of a car engine. So the car engine generates a lot of heat when moving and need to be cooled constantly to avoid damage to the engine. Water has a high specific heat capacity and lower cost, so water can be a useful cooling agent to absorb large amount of heat generated from the engine. So water is used to remove heat from the hot engine to the surrounding. Now let us see the cooling system of a car engine. So here, look at the picture, you may see there is a water pump at here, and we have a fan, and also the most important part is the radiator. The surface of radiator consists of many cooling fins. Okay, so first, water pump direct waters to the engine. So the heat generated is actually come from the block of cylinder. Okay, here we have six cylinder which will generate the heat in this figure. Okay, so second, heat from combustion, so that is come from the cylinder, is transferred to the water. Okay, so you may see the blue color arrow showing the cold water. Okay, so the color of the arrow is changed to red. That means the water is absorb the heat generated from the car engine, so that the water help to remove the heat from the hot engine. So after the water absorb the heat, it will become hot water. So we need to reduce the temperature of the hot water by flowing the hot water into the radiator. So the air is drawn in by the radiator. So the air is flowing from the radiator to cooling down the hot water, which already absorb a lot of heat from the car engine. Then last, the hot water will loses the heat to the air by passing through the cooling fin. And then the cold water will be direct back to the engine, and the cooling process will be continued and repeated in the same cycle. Now let us discuss the natural phenomena related to specific heat capacity. First is regarding sea breeze. From the picture, you may see that the sea breeze will be occur at the daytime. So during the daytime, the heat directed to sea and also land. But land, which has smaller specific heat capacity compared to seawater, so the land will increase the temperature faster. Therefore, the land is warmer compared to sea. So air above the land is heated up. So when object heated, it will be expand. So the volume of hot air is higher than cold air. So make the hot air become less dense and rise. So colder air from the sea move from the sea towards the land and become sea breeze. On the other hand, sea breeze occur at night. At night, heat is lost from the land and sea. Sea has a larger specific capacity, so the sea is warmer than land. So this is because, as mentioned and discussed just now, a material which has larger specific heat capacity will lose energy slower, so that the sea will be warmer compared to land. Land has a smaller specific heat capacity, so the land will become hot easily at daytime and release energy faster than the sea at the nighttime. So therefore, the sea water will be hotter compared to the land, and the air above the sea will be expand and become less dense and then rises. So the cooler air from the land move towards the sea, and we know that is known as land breeze. So now let us discuss how is the relationship between the heat absorbed or heat lost by a substance with the different mass but same material. Here we have a case where a boy is now drinking hot soup with a spoon. If he accidentally spills a spoonful of soup into his hand, he will experience only a slight pain. However, if he spilled the whole contents of a bowl of soup into himself, he will suffer serious injuries. Why? So look at the situation. The soup with a spoon or the soup in the bowl, both is actually have the same temperature. Okay, so that means from the formula Q equal to mc delta, the delta will be the same. Okay, and the C will be also the same because both is the same material. So the main difference here is the spoonful of soup is consists of small amount of mass, and a bowl of soup will be have bigger mass. So let's discuss together. So as mentioned, the mass of spoonful soup is smaller than the mass of the whole bowl of soup, although both are at the same temperature and have the same specific heat capacity because both is the same material. So they must have the same specific heat capacity. So the only difference here is the mass for both condition, which is a spoonful of soup and a big amount of bowl of soup. So Q equal to mc delta, therefore Q is directly proportional to M. And here the sentence write as the mass is directly proportional to the quantity of heat. So therefore the soup in the bowl contains more heat, so the boy will absorb large amount of heat if the bowl of soup is spilled onto his body.
We have come to the end of the lesson today. In today's lesson, we successful to complete 3 of the learning outcomes in the section 4.2. First, to explain the heat capacity. Second, to define specific heat capacity, and also the application of specific heat capacity in our daily life. In next video, I will continue the last learning outcome in section 4.2, which is about the problem solving involving the specific heat capacity by using its formula. So students, please do not miss out my next lesson, and see you.